Alright, let's take a look at this Hit the Motherload card here. So this is another one that's coming to us new from Ixalan. For 7 mana you get to discover 10, and for the difference in mana value between 10 and what that spell costs, you make treasure tokens equal to the difference. So this discover 10 thing's kind of interesting because it's essentially Cascade, but for this particular card you get a little extra. What we're going to be trying to do here is essentially ramp as fast as we can using things like Mind Stone, Big Score, and Unexpected Windfall until we can get to our big card here, Arcane Bombardment. We're able to find this thing either by just picking up one of the 4 or by going through this Idyllic Tutor route. And once we cast Arcane Bombardment, this thing is pretty powerful. So for 6 mana you get an enchantment. For your first instant or sorcery each turn, this includes both yours and your opponent's, you get to randomly take a instant sorcery from your graveyard and then stick it under Arcane Bombardment. And so now every time this thing triggers, you get to cast all cards that are exiled with it, basically. So some of the things that we want to work with here is obviously Hit the Motherload for 7 mana. If we can just cast this thing repeatedly, it's going to be great because we also discover 10, finding, you know, some of these other cards that are good. Obviously, we're going to be using Mind Stone and these 2 spells, Big Score and Unexpected Windfall, to get going. And these are pretty good because when we cast them again, sure, we'll be discarding additional cards, but we will basically be able to make a bunch of treasures, make a bunch of cards, and they kind of fuel themselves, which is pretty cool. There's also Wrath of Gods here to deal with any creatures that are on the battlefield. Like, it's going to be completely fine if our opponent's on any creature-based strategy. Pretty much the only thing that we need to watch out for is like hard control, and if they can just lock off our Arcane Bombardments, then we're going to have a pretty hard time to function. How this deck is trying to win is basically leveling the opponent with 8 copies of Shock, essentially, so play with Fire and Shock. Once we cast these out of hand, they'll end up in the graveyard and then get copied with Arcane Bombardment, and then pretty much any card that we cast after that will become 1 or more copies of Shock and play with Fire. Now, a cool thing with Hit the Motherload is sometimes what's going to happen is you're going to hit additional copies of Arcane Bombardment. So once you get the first one down, you might hit like 1 or 2 other things. You may draw into another Arcane Bombardment, or you might draw into it with your Big Score Unexpected Windfall, or you just hit it off of the Motherload. So, you know, kind of once you're going off with this, you end up with 4 Arcane Bombardments on the battlefield. You're just shocking your opponent for like 6 a turn. And it just really, it's maybe one of the more snowbally things I've seen. Definitely very interesting, and it's a good time to play. In the mana base, we're running mostly mountains here. You could go with like a more even 50-50 split on white and red, but really we only need 1 Idyllic Tutor to get going. And once we make all of our Big Score and Unexpected Windfall tokens, which, you know, notably do take 2 red pips, we're going to have all the white mana that we need. So we're going to try to just get this ball rolling here and see how big of a snowball we can achieve. Should be a pretty fun series. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Before we hop into the games, if you're new here, subscribe for more videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, like and comment on the video. Helps me out with the algorithm a whole lot. Now let's hop into round 1 and see what we can do. Here we go. Okay, round 1, let's go. We have Mind Stone ramp into Big Score, which is pretty much what we want to be doing here. Play with Fires are good to get into the graveyard early. We don't really need to do anything just yet. I will use the Scry to poke my opponent though, or anything that they play. They show Metallic Mimic. Let's see what kind of creatures they are working with here. It's goblins. I think in the interest of keeping my life total healthy, I'm going to kill this thing. It makes everything 1 bigger, which does add up. Here's Mind Stone. Next turn we get to Big Score. This will allow us to Wrath of God on the following turn if it comes to it. Alright, they're going to poke us a little bit with Gem Palm Incinerator, or I guess they won't. Here's Big Score. We'll discard 1 of the Wraths of God. We only need 1. And we find another Big Score. This is good. That'll probably be our next play. We'll pass. Opponent's definitely on creatures, so we're super insulated with this Wrath of God. That Unlicensed Hearst, though, that's not good. We'll just have to put a bunch of things in the graveyard and hope that we can get there before they can interrupt us. So here's Big Score again. Let's discard a land. Sure, they can activate Hearse. Graveyard hate definitely is kind of an issue for us, but once we get something exiled with Arcane Bombardment, we'll be okay. It might be the case that we just need to like make a few plays in one turn in order to make things work. No Arcane Bombardment yet, that's tough. Well, we'll have to say go and hope that we can deal. Of course, if they animate this thing at any point, I'm going to attempt to kill it. You can basically kill a 4/4 if it came down to it. Let's put this in tapped here. We'll draw with the Mind Stone. That thing's better for card draw at this point. They'll activate Hearse again. We're going to get our graveyard completely eaten. I think the thing's going to be a 5/5, which is kind of an issue. No, it's just a 4/4 still. But eventually it will be a 5/5. That's brutal. They choose red. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think I'm not going to sack the Mind Stone. I can't feed the Unlicensed Hearse this much. Alright, we'll ramp out a bit here. Just hold on. So what's going to have to happen is we play Arcane Bombardment, then just go in with Play with Fire, Wrath of God. Hopefully that baits them into picking Wrath of God as one of the cards they exile, and then we'll be able to exile a Play with Fire. Okay, we're going to have to be kind of sneaky about this. I'm going to wait to activate Mind Stones until we resolve our bombardment. I think. I'm not really sure. We'll play with the life total a little bit. It's going to be a bit scary, but I think I need to go like this. They're going to activate Hearse again. They might as well. Okay. So our graveyard is officially empty here. This thing would be a 5/5, right? Number of cards exiled with it, yes. So we gotta watch out for these beats. They can hit us with a 5/5 pretty nastily. So currently we need one more thing. One more shock type effect. We have one more Play with Fire and 4 shocks. This is a little awkward. We're going to take a lot of damage here, but we can just Wrath the board, I suppose. It's awkward seeing the Unlicensed Hearse still up. So I'd be taking 9, going to 9. I'll just Wrath the board this next turn, paying one of my treasures to do so. Alright, move to my turn. Another red mana source. Here's Wrath of God. I'm gonna avoid feeding the Hearse if at all possible. Firebrand, sure. Are they gonna crew the Hearse? Okay, if they crew the Hearse, we are going ham with Mind Stones trying to find removal. Okay. Okay, so activate. 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 We're going to draw 3, hope we get there. The land's not it. The shock is it. Cool. And there's our Arcane Bombardment. Sweet. So, shock, fire, fire, autopay. And somehow we've been able to do it. So here's Arcane Bombardment. If we can find a spell as well, that'd be great off the top. Alright, cool. That was great. Get to move to our turn here. We're gonna go down to 2 here. We might not survive. It's got haste. We're gonna go. Oh, we go exactly to 0. Oh no. Alright, well, we played the best that we could, but we really just had to deal with a big bump in the road. Graveyard Hate's definitely not good, and Unlicensed Hearse is like kind of a very hard one to deal with for this deck. So, tough round 1. Let's hop into round 2. Try again. Alright, round 2. Let's see if we can make the combo work here. We have all the ramp into big scores, so that is great. It's a Godless Shrine on the other side. We get the big score next turn. And they are playing pretty slow here. Let's just big score on their end step. Interesting, some vampires. Alright. Let's discard one of our lands here, probably the Sacred Foundry. Or should I get rid of Soken's on? I might need to have the spirits, honestly. We'll see. Alright, we actually have Idyllic Tutor. This is one of the rare instances where it's pretty useful to us. We also just straight up have hit the Motherlode. But I don't think that's as good as what we could be doing here. So I think I'm going to Idyllic Tutor. And then I can still big score for neutral mana. Here's an Arcane Bombardment. And then, yeah, we'll pass. I think it's actually just worth it to not cast big score. We'll do it later. That would actually allow me, though, to discard hit the Motherlode, though, so that's actually better. They found their Anthem, okay. I think I'm gonna big score. I'd rather hit Arcane Bombardment. We'll take a little damage here. So we get rid of hit the Motherlode. And okay. We need to draw one of our 1 and 2 drops here if we want to make this work. That is so close to what we needed. Okay, so drop this out, play Bombardment. We got 2 mana to work with. We're gonna have to pass turn. Alright, they've mortified the enchantment. That's pretty bad. We go to 9. We can wipe the board here, and then Idyllic Tutor. Yeah, I think what I'll do is play this tapped, wrath the board. Sure, you can have your creature. And then we'll Idyllic Tutor for another one. Hopefully they don't have another Mortify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we can draw one of our 1 mana removal spells, that would be good. It's a very budget deck, interestingly enough. So we're gonna go to 1. I don't know if we can win from that position. Here's Bombardment with 1 mana left over. So Windfall will be good. We'll just have to see what we copy. We have to actually randomly copy Wrath of God. Alright, so this might as well... okay, so I can do this. We will have to discard the Sokens on because it doesn't even matter if we can make this because we're at 1. We'll die to the Flying Spirit. Alright, gotta hit Wrath of God. We hit Wrath of God. Let's go. Alright, so we've cleared the board. They have no Afterlife here. We actually do have Play with Fire now. Here comes Arcane Bombardment. We have 1 mana left over, so on their turn, we'll be able to kill something. Seraph of the Scales, okay. Now, what's the likelihood that I can hit a piece of removal like this? Oh, it actually doesn't matter, because I can wipe the board every turn now. We'll deal damage to the face here. Trigger, trigger. Unexpected Windfall cannot be cast. We will hit the mother load, heck yeah. So Wrath of God first. Well, okay, that was the wrong order, but okay. So we'll discover 10 first. Let's see what we hit. Hit Idyllic Tutor, sure. Idyllic Tutor making 7 tapped treasures. We get our final Arcane Bombardment. Wrath of God removes the creature with Afterlife 2. Play with Fire. Hits the top, we have to find a spell. That is indeed a spell. Alright, we do our turn here. 6 mana, we'll be left with 9. That's fine, this is enough to hit the mother load. Hit the mother load. Triple triggers, let's go. Big score can't be cast. Idyllic Tutor, unfortunately, well, it can be cast, doesn't find us anything. Bombardment, we will hit the mother load after we Wrath of God. Unexpected Windfall cannot be cast, that goes to hand, sweet. And we get Shock to go to opponent's face, and now that we have a second damage spell in hand, this is looking pretty good. So we just need one of our bombardments to hit the Shock. So we will play with Fire first. We're going to play with Fire. We will decline big score right now. Hit the mother load is another good one. We don't need to cast any of these cards. We just want to cast the ones that deal damage. We will hit the mother load. We will hit the mother load. And we will decline. We will hit the mother load again. We will play Wrath of God. Shock is good, we will play that. We have so many treasures now. This one will leave. And, yep, sure. We will end our turn. We can Wrath on my opponent's turn. They pass back, sweet. So we're going to discard Mother Load to Unexpected Windfall. We'll do it on their turn so that we can Wrath anything that they play. Here's Windfall, discarding Mother Load. Trigger, trigger, trigger. We just need to start copying these damage spells. Resolve. Shock on top's great. We're actually going to draw that card. We want this to be our backup in case we fizzle. None of these are really interesting. We will play with fire. We will always hit the Mother Load, I think. And we will decline the others. We don't want to overdraw. 30 cards left in deck. Mind Stone, that's fine. Discover 10, here we go. Play with fire, perfect. Leave these things on top. I guess it's actually correct to scry away some of these. We're looking for more shocks and that kind of stuff. Nice, there's a shock. Move to my turn. We have another play with fire, so we can probably just kill here. So I will just only hit the shocks and other play with fires. We'll do it on my turn, then on their turn, then on my turn again. That's like at least 8, then 10, then 12 damage, so we have them. Cool, so that is the combo in its entirety right there. Pretty fun one. It feels wild. Once you get the first Arcane Bombardment, the other 3 just immediately follow. And I mean, hey, we ended with like 55 treasures right here, so that was cool. Great round 2, couldn't have asked for anything more. Let's hop into round 3. Alright, round 3, let's go. So, this doesn't really ramp into big score. We'll get a play with fire in early, and we do have Idyllic Tutor once we get there. I think this is a good keep. Evolving Wilds, I wonder what kind of deck is using this. Okay, so it's not Mill, unless Mill suddenly started playing snow-covered plains. Alright, we're just looking for 1 mana here. I'm considering killing that. Put this untapped. So we got Idyllic Tutor next turn into Big Score the following turn, into Arcane Bombardment after that. We'll probably discard Wrath of God. Okay, I wonder what this Foretold card is. Could be Doomscar. We don't care one bit about a Doomscar. Okay, so I think now our Big Score is going to discard Motherlode, unless they show me something with Prosperous Innkeeper. Actually, you know, Wrath of God seems to be the correct one to discard first, because we can guarantee bigger Wraths. Like, we can guarantee a Wrath every turn, basically. Let's play this one, play Idyllic Tutor. We'll put our friend, the Arcane Bombardment, on the top. Or into hand, sorry. Say go. So Arcane Bombardment's going to have a third of a chance of hitting Wrath of God. I think they're holding Collected Company. We will also hold. Here comes an Innkeeper, sure. Trigger, trigger, fine. Another Snow-Covered Plains, sure. Yep. Take our damage. There's Windfall. Discarding Wrath of God. Okay. We found our land drops. So this is Arcane Bombardment plus holding up Play with Fire to potentially hit a Wrath of God. We also have Wrath of Gods from hand if we need to. So this is like maybe the best possible situation. Ancient Green Warden, okay. Instead of Evolving Wilds, they need to be playing the fetch lands that sacrifice when they enter. We'll play with fire here. I'll just kill one of these creatures, I think, for now. Trigger Arcane Bombardment. We may... Yeah, nice. We actually just randomly got Wrath of God sick. So there goes their whole plan. We have a Wrath every turn now. So I can just chill here and then use my big scores. End turn. Nice Ashaya. It's gonna die this turn. Discard, hit the Motherlode. Unexpected Windfall is good. We'll cast Wrath of God, and then Unexpected Windfall, getting rid of a Wrath of God. Another Windfall. More lands. Move to our turn. We're just going to keep doing this on my opponent's end step until we can find another Arcane Bombardment. I would love to hit the Motherlode. That would be great. That sucks. So we can float all of our treasure mana here. Let's just make red, 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 red. Farewell's tough for us, but it's okay. We have more Wraths of God to hit in the... we have more Wraths of God to just like hit if we need to. I guess I could have... I think it was correct to not cast anything there. Let's discard these lands. Nice, we have Arcane Bombardment again. Alright, move the turn. Slam another one of these, and we can even hold up our big score. Sick. Felidar Retreat. I really don't care about that. Now they have an enchantment on the battlefield, so they're going to be at odds trying to cast another Farewell. Right, are they passing? They are passing, okay. Here we go. Let's discard the land. It resolves. Or cast Unexpected Windfall, discarding. I mean, how badly do we want to hit a Wrath of God? As long as they don't exile my graveyard, I'm down to make that a thing. Another Arcane Bombardment plus Play with Fire. This is perfect. Yeah, move to my turn. Play a land, Bombardment. Say go. And now we start to deploy these Play with Fires and Shocks. Assuming they don't do anything like this. So we're going to let them exile first. And then we'll start to do our thing. Shock them. Wrath of God is here again. Sure. And I'm going to go to my turn. We're going to use Big Score here. Should I discard Play with Fire? I kind of want to use that for damage. I'll get rid of the Soken's-On. We don't need the land. Unexpected Windfall. We don't care about the other card. Wrath of God doesn't matter. Mindstone, Mindstone. These are going to be good sacrifice cards. Play a land. Mindstone, Mindstone is good to just draw a card, though. We'll use Play with Fires to trigger Bombardment on their turn. They pass. Great. Here's Play with Fire at face. Triggers Bombardment. Big Score and Unexpected Windfall. We'll get rid of one Big Score. See if we want to cast another one. I will get rid of the Play with Fire. We're just hoping to copy this thing. We'll decline on that. And here's Hit the Motherlode. Sweet. So we can just cast that next turn. 2 Motherlodes. Sweet. These will be the ones that I do on my turn. My turn. We'll hit the Motherlode. Play with Fire goes at face. I don't think we need to draw cards anymore. This on top is fine. Idyllic Tutor is perfect. Finds me another Bombardment. This is our final one, so we only have 2 to work with here. And this just checks first instance and sorcery spell each turn. Okay. We'll go ahead and end turn here, and then utilize both on my opponent's turn. A Farewell blows me out here. We just have to hope that they don't have it. They're passing. Sweet. Alright. That goes to face. I think we are going to start to draw, at least getting rid of this Needlebird pathway. Idyllic Tutor is just a whiff now. Shock goes to face. Play with Fire goes to face. We will cast 1 Big Score and that's it. Yeah, we'll keep the Motherlode in hand. We'll decline these. Okay, we have another Motherlode. Cool. Idyllic Tutor, I'm fine to draw that. They go to 11, move to my turn. Here is Motherlode. Sit some more shocks here. Big Score, we'll discard this. Idyllic Tutor, don't need to cast it. Got more lands. We have Shock to face. Play with Fire to face. Hit the Motherlode. Big Score discounting, or discarding one of these. Unexpected Windfall, discarding this. Decline. We've got 13 cards left in deck. We've gotten ultimately pretty unlucky with these shocks. We will put this in hand. We've got to be really careful about the amount of cards in deck still. Shock on top, great. And I think we have them on their turn. Shock goes to face. Yeah, we're good. So we will play a land. We're going to pass turn to their turn. In their upkeep, shock them. And then we resolve these final triggers. Decline these ones, resolve this, play with fire to face, shock to face, play with fire to face, and that is game. Decline the rest. Alright, we put lethal on the stack. Let's get it. So definitely a lot more interaction this game. We had Graveyard the first game. This time it was exile-based removal with this Farewell. That kind of, not gonna lie, kind of ruined me a little bit. But we're able to fight back and combo off just as hard, if not even harder. So great way to end round 3 there. We got round 4 coming up. Stick with me here. Alright, round 4. We have a big score here. The Idyllic Tutor is great, but we can't cast it. The Wrath of God is decent. I mean, we kind of have the same problem here of needing a little bit of white mana. All we need is one card to make big score work. Plus we also have removal with shock. I think this is an okay keep. Authority of the Consuls? Don't care. Alright, there's our 4th land. So we're good on turn 4. Big score on turn 4, Idyllic Tutor after. Cool. I've hit the Motherlode even, so that could potentially be our play instead of Idyllic Tutor. If we know that we'll have a 5th land after big score. I think I still want to go find I think I still need to go find whatchamacallit instead. Arcane Bombardment. We do have that 5th land that we were talking about. We can big score discarding Idyllic Tutor. Think about Wrath of God, possibly. That doesn't make sense. We're obviously big scoring discarding Motherlode. Okay, sure. We're gonna have to keep our life total high here. That's gonna be the deciding factor. So we discard Motherlode. Windfall. Move to turn. I'm thinking that these shocks might become relevant. So Idyllic Tutor finds Bombardment, then our next turn is, if we get a land, Bombardment plus Shock start to go off. I could also Unexpected Windfall plus Shock. I think I'm going to do that instead, because I might try to do this in or nil thing. It's a cleric class, that's fine. Soulmender, sure. They will get to gain all their life. And they do decide to activate that, so this will be Shock. I think I'm going to want to hold up other Shock as well. Unexpected Windfall, we'll get rid of the Mind Stone. Wrath of God, okay. More Shocks. Okay, so now it's going to be Idyllic Tutor. We actually have exactly enough mana for this, so cool. Let's go. Arcane Bombardment, leaving up one trigger for a Shock on their turn. Okay. We're cooking. We respond by killing Soulmender. They cannot activate at instant speed. They could gain a life. Fine. Idyllic Tutor. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Hit another Bombardment. We get to hold up Shock too. What we do need is a land though. A land would be good. Horn of Gondor, so they're going to try to go wide. My turn. Yes, it's a land. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so we'll wait till they activate Horn of Gondor or try to do anything with this Anduril. Fountain of Renewal, that's fine. they've activated all of their mana, so they can't Horn of Gondor in response to this, so I will kill that. And we are off to the races, I think. Big score is great. We'll discard a Wrath of God. Cool, big score, play with fire. We like this. Shock will... We'll go to face. I think it'll go kill this creature first. We will search out another one of our bombardments. Oh, this is the way we want to do it. The first bombardment hitting the Idyllic Tutor is just nuts. And then we'll hold play with fire for our next instance of this. We don't even need this Idyllic Tutor anymore, so that will be great discard fodder. End turn, do things on my opponent's turn. They go to 34. Hopefully we can start to really get them dead here. Alright, we will respond to all the triggers here. This makes the number of humans, and then this is just an equip cost, so I can, in response to all these triggers, kill the Primate. They can draw a card off renewal, sure. Shock will go to face. Nice, we're copying some damage spells early, which is good. I will cast the big score, discarding Idyllic Tutor. 36 cards in hand. We find the final Arcane Bombardment. We will shock. And then we can Unexpected Windfall, discarding Sacred Foundry. Idyllic Tutor doesn't matter. And another play with fire, great. They gain their life. Go to our turn. Here comes this, here comes bombardment, and we do the same thing next turn. We're giving them kind of a lot of draws. Okay, we're going to do the same thing that we did last turn. Alright, 4 triggers here. Play with fire, kills opponent, and okay, yeah. Looks like they kind of grasped what was going on there. We've had 4 extremely strong games with this deck. I have been more or less blown away by how consistent it is. Like, once you hit the combo turn of getting your first Arcane Bombardment and, like, the mana for your next spell, it is really just, like, a converging kind of situation. Like, I feel that as you get maybe your first to third instance of Arcane Bombardment going off, that's really all it takes to just win the game. We do have to pass, like, here and there, so, like, obviously against a deck like this, I'm worried about the farewells that we saw in a previous match. But I mean, hey, the ball feels unstoppable right now, so that's pretty cool. Final round here is coming up. Hope you guys have been enjoying this one. There is one more round to go. Stick with me. Okay, opponent has finally just come back. Basically, we have taken a pretty nice 7 here. I was remarking on how having a Mind Stone and big score, or even just the mana to get to a big score, has been super strong this these set of games. So we'll ramp to turn 3 here. We need to draw that critical land. If we don't have it, we're going to be in trouble. It's against elves, though, and we do have Wrath of God with already 1 white source. So things could definitely be a lot worse. And this is actually just straight up elves, so 1 land and we can really make this work. Okay, Play with Fire is actually going to stall us here a little bit, which is fine. If they cast anything, we Play with Fire, the Elvish War Master. Alright, we're going to kill that now. That actually saves a lot of tempo on our end. Alright, we need that land. It's not the land, but it's another Play with Fire, and in this deck, I think having those in the graveyard is pretty fine. 4 mana, what do you do? Is it a double spell or just 1? Dwynen's Elite, fine. We're going to kill the War Master. Same play as last time. I think that the Mind Stone's better as a mana source than as searching for another land, because even if we do find one, well, it's replaced a mana source that we just got rid of. Alright, here it is, and this is actually just the white mana source here, so we can think about getting hit for 4, or we can just big score and set up for next turn. 4, 5, 6, yeah, if we get our next turn, we can just Motherload. Herald's Horn, here you go. That's going to be good value for them over the next couple of turns. Elvish Clancaller. Alright. Well, we're going to take a big hit here. It's Elves that happens. We are going to Unexpected Windfall, and I think discarding Motherload is smartest here. Hit a bunch of lands, okay. Well, we can just Wrath of God here. Send them back to the Stone Age. They have 1 card in hand, but they get a bit more with Herald's Horn. So our turns now are manage the board with Play with Fire and big score to get some more mana. Motherload. We could cast Motherload here, but I think the more tempered play is to just big score here. I think these are better once we have them under a bombardment. Alright. Say go. I think in this case it's fine to do a Mind Stone draw. We have access to 9 mana here, 4 of it temporary, and we'll have our 10th here, so that's probably a good sacrifice. Opponent's drawn some cards. Looks like they're holding 2 lands in hand, or maybe double Craterhoof. Unnatural Growth. Okay. You got it. And we will sack to draw. Arcane Bombardment, that is at the perfect time. So we drop a Bombardment, and then on their turn, I think I'm going to wait to see what they cast. They technically could cast a Craterhoof, which I'd have a hard time removing with Play with Fire, but I have Wrath of God to deal with it, so I will play reactively rather than take their mana by killing Llanowar Elves early. Alright, so they'll look to reveal. They find Beast Whisperer, some card advantage for them, sure. If they play that, I'm going to Wrath of God, depending on what my Play with Fire hits. Alright, so they got that. They're going to go to combat, sure. Wait till they attack, and I'll Play with Fire. You know what? Do I take 2 here? I could maybe take 2 here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep my life total high. And even if they try to cast stuff with Beast Whisper after, I can Wrath of God whenever they get onto the board. Oh, yes, we hit the Motherload early. Let's go. That's huge. We find Wrath of God too. Alright. That's sick. And we make 6 treasures. Awesome. Move to our turn here. Play with Fire is an option. We can also hit the Motherload. I think that's just good. We also can just Play with Fire afterwards. So we have Play with Fire here to hit face. We have hit the Motherload to look for another bombardment. Find a Mind Stone instead. That's okay. That makes 8 treasures. Foundry, we'll scry away, and then we'll hit the Motherload again. Okay, Shock works. That deals some damage to the face. And we have all the mana in the world. We'll pass turn. Wait till the end of theirs. Alright, only 1 Arcane Bombardment to speak of right now, but we have all the power in the world. Dwynen's Elite, fine. Now, what we could use is some Motherloading ability. We'll Wrath of God on our turn, unless we hit it here. That's okay. My turn. Damage to the face. Trigger all of our stuff. Resolve. We will hit the Motherload. We will Play with Fire, targeting opponent. We will hit the Motherload as well. Arcane Bombardment, baby. Let's get it. Deal damage. Scry. Another Arcane Bombardment. Yes, please. So that means this hit the mother load immediately hits that. Let's go. And I think that we should be able to get there from here. Shock on top is great. We'll draw that for turn. That means that on this turn it's Wrath of God to trigger everything, and then on their turn it's Shock to trigger. And the end should be... Oh, wait, hold up. Not casting that. Decline. Wrath of God, yes please. Now we have a Wrath every turn if we'd like it. Shock goes to face. We will still mother load. We have 35 cards in hand. Hitting for another 4. Idyllic Tutor. We don't need to do that. Big score, I'll put that in hand. Another one of these. I could cast it discarding big score. I suppose I'll do that. About 40 mana or so on the battlefield. Let's go. Destroy all creatures. Alright. That's fine, we'll pass. Resolve. And so we have 2, 4 damage, 6 damage. If we were to hit something off of the... Basically, we have them dead on our turn, but if we randomly hit a shock-type effect in this turn's Arcane Bombardments, we still win. That's fine. That's fine. And then we go shock to face. Triggers. Resolve. Wrath of God. Decline. I guess I could be kind of digging there, but it's okay. We'll get it on our turn. Play with fire to face. Oh, I think that is actually lethal, is it not? Resolve whatever. Resolve this one, and then this has 2 underneath it. Okay, cool. That is lethal. Shock to face. Play with fire to face. Don't need to bother resolving anything else. There we go. Alright. And we had just another super strong round 5 to finish it off. Incredible combos with Arcane Bombardment. This may be my favorite deck out of Ixalan, not gonna lie. The ability of Arcane Bombardment to just get you a hit the mother load, a 7 mana spell to discover 10 is just insane. And the amount of treasures that you generate means that once you hit a mother load and you get it under your Arcane Bombardment, you pretty much just have infinite mana. This deck is crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The deck list will absolutely be in the description, so please check it out. Check out my the Aetherhub link will always be there. And yeah, if you like the video, like and comment to help me with the algorithm, and hopefully we can get some more eyes on this really, really cool deck. With that being said, if you are new here and seeing my content for the first time and you want to see more of it, do subscribe. We have videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and there's some pretty cool stuff going on here. Yeah, just come stick around as we explore what Ixalan has to offer us. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.